You didn't stay neutral because you were fair. You stayed neutral because choosing sides would have cost you. You watched people get crushed and called it not your problem. You let power move around you and not through you. And you told yourself that silence was the responsible choice, when in reality, it was the safe one. This comes from a data shard in Cyberpunk 2077 called the Extraterrestrial Menage a Trois. It's not a story about space travel. It's a breakdown of who controls space and how power hides by staying neutral. See, in Cyberpunk, space technically belongs to everyone, but in reality, it's controlled by 3 different groups. The first one is the European Space Council. It's a bunch of scientists and governments focused on research and exploration. Then you have the High Riders. They're nomads who live in orbit outside of Earth's rules. And then finally, we have Orbital Air. They're a mega corporation with enough military power to erase the both of them. But they choose not to. And see, there's tension up there. Tension over control and resources and territory. And Orbital Air has the power to end it instantly. But instead, they stay neutral. And not because they're weak. Not because they're conflicted either. But because neutrality is the safest position when you already dominate the board. Orbital Air does not wage war against the high risers. And it's not because they respect them, but because there's no profit in it. Killing them would cost money. Crushing them would cost reputation. And choosing a side would force accountability. So Orbital Air does what powerful systems always do. They wait. They speak calmly. They frame themselves as reasonable. And while everyone else fights, they keep collecting. This shard makes something uncomfortably clear. Power does not need to be loud. It just needs to last. Orbital Air doesn't need to be violent because time is already on their side. They don't need to conquer space. They already control access to it. And that's the trick. Neutrality feels moral. It sounds clean. It looks responsible. But neutrality isn't the absence of force. It's the refusal to interrupt outcomes that already benefit you. And the high risers, they're called renegades, nomads. They're called difficult. But what they really are is inconvenient. They don't generate profit. They don't stabilize the markets. And they don't polish the brand. So Orbital Air doesn't eliminate them. They simply let them exist as long as they don't interfere. And see, that's not mercy. That's containment. And this is not just about Night City logic. You see this everywhere. Companies that stay silent while harm continues because speaking would cost contracts. Institutions that monitor the situation while the people beneath them suffer. Or the leader who says that they're neutral when the damage doesn't touch them yet. They aren't undecided. They're insulated. Because neutrality becomes a luxury you can only afford once consequences stop reaching you. The shard even spells it out. Waging war would bring little financial benefit. The PR damage alone would be catastrophic. So Orbital Air chooses patience. And patience is not passive. Patience is strategy. They wait for others to exhaust themselves. They let rivals bleed resources. They let the moral outrage burn out. And when the dust settles, they're still standing. Cleaner, richer, and untouched. See, this is the kind of power that doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need to threaten. It doesn't need to posture. And it does not rage. It just outlasts you. And that's the mirror. Because being neutral isn't always about peace. Sometimes it's about avoiding responsibility while still benefiting from the result. You don't have to cause harm to profit from it. You just have to make sure it doesn't disrupt your position. And Orbital Air doesn't choose sides, because choosing sides would mean admitting involvement, and involvement creates liability. So they stay above the conflict, not morally, but structurally. They stay untouchable, unblamed, and unaccountable. And the most disturbing part is they're not even hiding it. They're doing it openly. Because neutrality isn't secretive power. It's power that's learned it doesn't need permission anymore. And see, this shard isn't asking you to pick a side. It's asking you to notice how often neutral really means I'm already winning. And how often people who claim to be above the fight are the ones who benefit most from it continuing. Because when power chooses not to be seen, it does not disappear. It just becomes permanent.